Mercy was our nastiest platoon leader. He thought a dozen men would suffice, but let Silent and me tag along. I could patch the wounded. Silent would be useful if the Blues played rough. Silent held us up half a day while he made a quick trip to the woods. "What the hell are you up to?" I asked when he got back, lugging a ratty-looking sack. He just grinned. Silent he is, and silent he stays. The place was called Mole Tavern. It was a comfortable hangout. I had passed many an evening there. Mercy assigned 3 men to the back door, and a pair each to the 2 windows. He sent another 2 to the roof. Every building in Beryl has a roof hatch. People sleep up top during the summer. He led the rest of us through the mole's front door. Mercy was a smallish, cocky fellow, fond of the dramatic gesture. His entry should have been preceded by fanfares. The crowd froze, stared at our shields and bared blades, at snatches of grim faces barely visible through gaps in our face guards. "Varys!" Mercy shouted. "Get your butt out here!" The grandfather of the managing family appeared. He sidled toward us like a mutt expecting a kick. The customers began buzzing. "Silence!" Mercy thundered. He could get a big roar out of his small body. "How may we help you, honored sirs?" the old man asked. "You can get your sons and grandsons out here, Blue." Chairs squeaked. A soldier slammed his blade onto a tabletop. "Sit still," Mercy said. "You're just having lunch. Fine. You'll be loose in an hour." The old man began shaking. "I don't understand, sir. What have we done?" Mercy grinned evilly. "He plays the innocent well. It's murder, Varys. 2 charges of murder by poisoning. 2 of attempted murder by poisoning. The magistrates decreed the punishment of slaves." He was having fun. Mercy wasn't one of my favorite people. He never stopped being the boy who pulled wings off flies. The punishment of slaves meant being left up for scavenger birds after public crucifixion. In Beryl, only criminals are buried uncremated, or not buried at all. An uproar rose in the kitchen. Somebody was trying to get out the back door. Our men were objecting. The public room exploded. A wave of dagger-brandishing humanity hit us. They forced us back to the door. Those who were not guilty obviously feared they would be condemned with those who were. Beryl's justice is fast, crude, and harsh, and seldom gives a defendant opportunity to clear himself. A dagger slipped past a shield. One of our men went down. I am not much as a fighter, but I stepped into his place. Mercy said something snide that I did not catch. "That's your chance at heaven wasted," I countered. "You're out of the annals forever." "Crap. You don't leave out anything." A dozen citizens went down. Blood pooled in low places on the floor. Spectators gathered outside. Soon some adventurer would hit us from behind. A dagger nicked Mercy. He lost patience. "Silent!" Silent was on the job already, but he was silent. That meant no sound, and very little flash or fury. Mole patrons began slapping their faces and pawing the air, forsaking us. They hopped and danced, grabbed their backs and behinds, squealed and howled piteously. Several collapsed. "What the hell did you do?" I asked. Silent grinned, exposing sharp teeth. He passed a dusky paw across my eyes. I saw the mole from a slightly altered perspective. The bag he had lugged in from out of town proved to be one of those hornets' nests you can, if you're unlucky, run into in the woods south of Beryl. Its tenants were the bumblebee-looking monsters peasants call bald-faced hornets. They have a foul temper unrivaled anywhere in nature. They cowed the mole crowd fast, without bothering our lads. "Fine work, Silent," Mercy said, after having vented his fury on several hapless patrons. He herded the survivors into the street. I examined our injured brother, while the unharmed soldier finished the wounded, saving the syndic the cost of a trial and a hangman, Mercy called that. Silent looked on, still grinning. "He's not nice either. though he seldom participates directly. We took more prisoners than expected. Was a bunch of them. Mercy's eyes twinkled. Thanks, Silent. The line stretched a block. Fate is a fickle bitch. She'd led us to Mole Tavern at a critical moment. Poking around, our witchman had unearthed a prize. A crowd concealed in a hideout beneath the wine cellar. Among them were some of the best-known blues. Mercy chattered, wondering aloud how large a reward our informant deserved. No such informant existed. The yammer was meant to save our tame wizards from becoming prime targets. Our enemies would scurry around looking for phantom spies. "Move them out!" Mercy ordered. Still grinning, he eyed the sullen crowd. "Think they'll try something?" They did not. His supreme confidence cowed anyone who had ideas. We wound through maze-like streets half as old as the world, our prisoners shuffling listlessly. I gawked. My comrades are indifferent to the past, but I cannot help being awed, and occasionally intimidated, by how time-deep Barrel's history runs. Mercy called an unexpected halt. We had come to the Avenue of the Syndics, which winds from the customs house uptown to the Bastion's main gate. There was a procession on the avenue. Though we reached the intersection first, Mercy yielded the right of way. The procession consisted of 100 armed men. They looked tougher than anyone in Barrel but us. At their head rode a dark figure on the biggest black stallion I've ever seen. The rider was small, effeminately thin, and clad in worn black leather. He wore a black morion, which concealed his head entirely. Black gloves concealed his hands. He seemed to be unarmed. "Damn me," Mercy whispered. I was disturbed. That rider chilled me. Something primitive deep inside me wanted to run. But curiosity plagued me more. Who was he? Had he come off that strange ship in the harbor? Why was he here? The eyeless gaze of the rider swept across us indifferently, as though passing over a flock of sheep. Then it jerked back, fixing on Silent. Silent met him stare for stare, and showed no fear. And still he seemed somehow diminished. The column passed on, hardened, disciplined. Shaken, Mercy got our mob moving again. We entered the Bastion only yards behind the strangers.